Moving on to the next topic, it concerns budget. Budget which you can account on when you move to Germany, how much you may need to live here, how much is the rent, and so on. To start off, I would just say it's highly dependent on the region where you live in Germany, if you prefer a big city or a smaller city, if you want to live in a newly built building, or it doesn't matter for you and you don't care whether it's old or new, whether there are people living in there or not, or you want to live in a dormitory, for example, whether you want to possess a car or not, whether you go to the supermarket and cook or you prefer to order food all the time. This is very dependent. So I will just tell you from our own experience, roundabout, which conclusions I made and my estimations for you. So we live in a relatively small city. The population is about 80 or 90,000 here. It's a small university city, so the prices here are generous. We live 40 minutes from Frankfurt am Main. So the accessibility to the airport, for example, is great from here. And in this city, as I assume in pretty much all small cities, especially university cities, the rent for one person will be roundabout from 500 euros to 1,000, depending on your preference, of course, depending on the size of the flat. Again, if it's a new building or an old building, what you should be prepared for is it's not Prague. All flats which are rented here, they're not furnished, so you will have to buy furniture. In many cases, you will even have to consider buying a kitchen. Yeah, so this is a relatively big investment. So you need to take it into account, because here to find a flat with furniture, it's really rare. So like around 80% chance you will have to buy everything new. So that's that. The next thing is if you want to have a car or not, because in Germany the infrastructure is relatively good. The only problem here is, in comparison to Czech Republic, the prices for buses and trains are much higher. So I'm not sure which ranges there are in which cities, but the daily tickets, like you can either buy One Direction Go, which will be around €1.5. You can buy a daily ticket, which will be about, depending on where you are, from €8 to €15. In Berlin, I believe it was even €20 per day, so it's relatively expensive. However, if you're sportish and you like bicycle, you can always get a bicycle. Every German city has bicycle roads and places where you can park the bicycle, so it's very comfortable, of course. This is also a possibility for you, how to save money and stay fit. If you want to get a car, then there is a question, of course, if you want to buy it, if you want to lease it, if you want to finance it, up to you. There, of course, you will need to consider, if you buy the car or finance it, actually even if you lease it, there will be some money paid for the insurance, of course, so this is also some money spending. So this is for the car. And the expenses that we have, for example, I live with my husband, we have 2 cats, and I usually go to a supermarket which is not a discounter, and so I don't, let's say, save money on every single product that I buy. And for us, including petrol for both of us, and buying food in the supermarket and buying special things for our cats, it's about €600 per month, roundabout. It can be less, it can be more, but roundabout it's an average of 600. So if you don't have pets and you live alone, I'm sure 300 will be a reasonable number for you, provided, of course, that you don't go restaurants a lot, let's say not every day, and you cook at home. Later, when you start working, there will be, of course, a possibility to eat at work because there are usually menses there. There, you can account for every day around, let's say, €5 per meal, which is decent for Germany. The portions there are good. You will not stay hungry, and obviously, if it's just every day for lunch, €5, it's good. Yeah. So that's pretty much this. The biggest spendings that we have are for our insurances and, of course, renting a flat. Insurances in Germany is a very complicated topic. It has a lot of details in it, and once you move here, of course, the most important insurance for you will be medical insurance, which in most cases will be private. This will cost you around 200 to 300 euros per month. And other insurances, which if you ever want to discuss it or you need some assistance, you can contact me anytime, we will talk about it, because it's relatively complicated. But in Germany, it's recommended to get many insurances, because this is just how system here works. And each insurance doesn't cost much, but they add up, and it becomes quite some amount. But this you should only concern about after you start your job, and when you're already stable somewhere. So roundabout, I would say per month you should account for around 1,000 euros. With if you live alone, you don't have pets, you don't possess a car, you can account for 1,000 euros, including food, including public transport, and including rent. This should be your average spending. Yeah, I mean, living well, not feeding only on, let's say, rice or potatoes all the time. Going out, going to the restaurants, having some time off, going to the cinema, living normally. If you want to save a lot, you always have a possibility to do that. You can live in a dormitory. Yeah, you can buy food in discounters on particular day. They provide also particular newspapers where you can check on which day of the week it's better to buy some particular product, and in the end of the day it actually turns out much cheaper. So up to you how you want to spend the budget. Then keep in mind that whatever happens, you can always find some small work, and this will help your financial status anyway. Of course, life in Germany is more expensive than Czech Republic, that's definite, but I think if you manage your finances well, yeah, then it's reasonable here.